about that. A wind chime wouldn't work on a spinning globe. None of the reality that they say we live in, the official liars promoting the godless cosmic Big Bang. Water seeks its level, fills its container, and covers the face of the earth. Yeah, it's just what it does. You can explore my YouTube channel and Facebook, photography if you care to. Temperature differentials drive the hydrologic cycle, the water cycle of the world. The evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Then we've got respiration from our bodies, perspiration from our bodies, transpiration from the plants. We live in a created world. Just the temperature differential of the heat coming out of the edge of the hood of the car was enough to prevent condensation from accumulating there. Did a video yesterday actually, showing some dynamics with the imaginary plastic inflatable globe. Well, it's a real plastic inflatable globe, just illustrating how ridiculous a spinning ball conforming water to the shape of a sphere, and centrifugal force would cause that to fly off. The water exposes the global lie, physics and properties of water. Eternity is a long time to regret. This isn't a sales pitch. I know that all God's children will absolutely be born again. So I moved the wind chime, and there's a little bit of tension in the string there on some of these, even though they've got a grommet to keep it from cutting the strings. I just wanted to illustrate that when the strings are working right, when they allow the pipe to hang the way it's supposed to, it's like a plumb bob. We used to use plumb bobs for architecture. In this short video, the moisture is going to burn off of the windshield, all that condensation that's there. It's just what it'll do. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish is not explained by the globe model, accurately that is. So today the sun came up here and is going to do something like this and set in that area from this vantage point. I saw it last night. Now, in case you missed that, what I want to show you is the reality that it's the sun that's moving and not the earth. Okay, so the sun comes up there and lands over there. Look at the differential of space. Comes up there, lands over there. As best I can tell, this area we're on, there's quite a bit of, well, how would I say, the course of the moon and the sun curve quite a bit here. You can explore this if you want. The Tides Near Me app is a very effective app. I utilize it regularly, and I'll show that to you. I'll open that up. It looks like a wave. We're at the Cherry Grove inside. Should be an interesting tide tonight. 5.7 feet. You see, it'd be impossible for a wind chime to hang upside down in Australia. I had an opportunity to talk to an angry vegan atheist globe believer in Australia. We talked for about an hour. He was angry when I called him, and then an hour later when we were saying our goodbyes, he said he was glad that I called. It's because I care. People are basing their eternal perspective on a lie in many cases. A false reality. It's not real. So we've got atmospheric lensing. Here we can see condensation obviously on the car, and that'll be going away. As the temperature of the inside of the car and therefore the glass increases, it will just evaporate. The water powers the world. It's hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is combustible, oxygen is an oxidizer and contributes to combustion. It's necessary. You can't have combustion in a vacuum without oxygen. It doesn't work. There's just a simple drop of water right there. If I take the lens of this if I take this camera out, depending on temperature differential, the lens will fog right up and I won't be able to get the shots that I want. See this one right here, we can see that that's obviously tipped. Okay. When you think of a wind chime and what it illustrates, now maybe you'll see it a bit different. Turbines powered by moving water powers the electrical grid of the world. Whether it's at a dam in its moving turbine like the Three Gorges Dam in China, the largest hydroelectric dam in the world, or it's a coal-fired power plant in South Carolina or nuclear fired, it's still moving water, changing the state of the water, increasing the temperature, causing steam, forcing it through pathways that move turbines to make electricity. Or like Niagara Falls in New York. Appleton, Wisconsin has a very interesting history with electricity and making paper products. A year ago I was there and I basically narrated some short documentaries that I narrated and made by the some of the locks that changed the water level based on a series of gates, locks they call them. So the Suez Canal, you can see how it doesn't change elevation between the oceans. Over 108 miles long, that would be impossible on a globe without a spherical shape. There would need to be a lot of locks. The Nile River flowing over 4,000 miles and ignoring all kinds of missing curvature. Their story doesn't add up. They're giving us a godless cosmic Big Bang. That's not what we are. We were created by, I believe, the God of the Bible. That's where I draw my insight from on matters of, well, all that matters that it speaks on. So I can take a chair, I take these chairs to the beach. People see them and some go there. Some people in the neighborhood don't go there, and I'm right in the neighborhood. Oh well, that's certainly their prerogative. So one of the things that I want to illustrate here too is that I have a video recently, and it said, "Thanks for millions of views." Now, Satan will use who and what he can. God will use everybody and everything, including Satan and the demons and fallen angels. So what I want to have you consider is that my YouTube channel, Eternal Perspective, has less than 30,000 views. Somebody pointed that out, and I said, well, without arguing, I just simply copied and pasted the links or the videos on my playlist that has the videos that I'm in that have been viewed millions of times. And I thought that was interesting, that it works that way. I have a little bit more creative flexibility in my yard on what I can do with props. I can't take all this to the beach. The perfectly calm water at the beach or the disturbed water also illustrates some important dynamics. So it was 65 degrees this morning. Being cooler like this, what it does is it causes the moisture to drop out of the atmosphere. That's what I was talking about, the temperature differentials. The physics and properties of water. What else does water do? Well, it doesn't stick to a spinning ball. So this right here, you can see that apparently with a rotation of 1,038 miles an hour at the equator, you've got South America that's really tipped upside down, even more than Australia, but none of it makes any sense. So if you feel sorry for me for believing that we don't live on a globe or went to the moon, I would simply say, you don't need to feel sorry for me. I would encourage everybody, and I do, to look into this, to encourage everybody to hear, share, and of course, obey God's word. Because your eternal perspective is going to be based on what you do in this life, what you ultimately believe. Yeah, the water doesn't stick to it. Even when it's not spinning. I showed that on my live broadcast yesterday on YouTube. Towards the end. Probably not. I don't know that I'm going to do one today. I've got a lot of garage cleaning to do. I'm working on that. I've just been very busy creating and posting content. So in the short time that I've been on this recording with you, can you see the sun or the moon up there? Here we go. Wow. There it is. It's not a sphere. It's got an interesting shape to it. You can look at my photo album if you care to. The lighting drastically affects what we're able to see with it. The lighting makes a big difference. Well, I can tell you that this is taking way longer than I wanted. So what I'm going to do is show you something a little bit different. Yeah, we can see where this water flowed down right there. Watch this water. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting shot, huh? About that. Now we can see that now. If I squeegee that off, we won't see that reflection there. There's Australia. Yeah. Some of the dynamics with the moon landing, it's obviously a hoax. I can see shadows and reflections and tell you that that's not real. The moon landing, being on the moon. Yeah, we haven't gone there. I've got documentaries on my photo album to prove, on my photo album and YouTube channel. They're all linked together, just so you know. My photos aren't just photos, they're a way to help retrieve information. Okay, so here we go again. See, the water will just go down. It doesn't stick to a spinning ball. Not a tennis ball for Cooper or any other puppy. It doesn't work that way. Centrifugal force causes things to fly out. Fly out, fly off. Let me show you that again. See how it does that? That force of my moving arm caused that to fling off. It's just what it'll do. No trickery. The dew on that grass will evaporate, and then it'll condense and precipitate somewhere else. It's just what it does. Yesterday we had humidity in the 30s, 30%. So is that headlight on or just reflecting? It's just reflecting. Yeah, I knew the headlight wasn't on. I just parked the car there. So there's condensation inside this globe. An inflatable globe. I got it from Hobby Lobby. So let's do this again now. It's not even spinning, it just doesn't stick to a globe. And then the water will go down. Interesting, isn't it? I like to put my highly purified water in the sun so that it has what I believe is some benefit from the sun. Just think of sun tea. I've made sun coffee. It works when we had a hurricane and a power outage. The flood that Noah prepared for, he worked on the ark for over 100 years. Up until that time it didn't rain until the time of the flood, and then God opened up the floodgates of heaven. Evidently there's a lot of water up above the globe. The globe, listen to me, not the globe, the earth. The firmament is the, I was thinking atmosphere. Well, we've got a glass, molten glass type structure above our earth. We're in more of like a terrarium. So floodgates, you can see it on like the Three Gorges Dam. Floodgate moves a lot of water fast. And then fountains of the deep opened up as well. And then the rain. Multiple water sources. Enough to cover the face of the earth, up over the tops of all the mountains, however tall they were then. So what percent moon did we have today? Do you remember? 14%. I don't need to go in space and take a picture of what the Earth looks like. I take pictures of what the Earth looks like right here, where I live. About 7 miles away is the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. This is South Carolina. Shadows and reflections, it's a big deal. Clues to the world that we live in. Undisturbed water is flat and level and shows perfect symmetry of the billions of dollars of architecture that I've captured and shared on my photo album. And others, you can look at it. Photography is a big deal. Landscape, nature photography, you can see a whole lot of how this works. How the world actually exists and operates. So just to recap, the sun came up there and will set over there. Huh. How's that possible on a globe? Just so you know, that's not straight across. That's We're looking down this street, and it's going to go down this street, right over here. Came up over here, sets over here. In the winter, it came up over there and sat over there. Further away is lower based on our perspective. That's how that works out. It matters because eternity is a long time to regret or be grateful. I hand out an eternal perspective. That's what I'm all about. I encourage everybody to hear, share, and of course, obey God's Word. Bible.com, Bible.is. And of course, when you go to Eternal Perspective on the YouTube channel, there's a lot of content there. Hopefully you can enjoy. Thank you so much.